The last time I was this early, it was legal to go out. God, those were the days. 1 or 2 more months of quarantine and we'll be talking to our spreadsheets. You know, at least now I'm sure my joke wasn't so bad. Jaime, here's the thing, Rivera. Do you even count how many times you say that phrase? No, why, if I've got you guys and Diego? Jaime Birdwatching Rivera. Come on, guys. That's right, it's that time of the week. I'm Jaime Rivera. This is Pocketnow, and this is the Pocketnow Daily Recap, your comments for this week. So on Monday, the topic was iPhone 12. We had some leaked CAD renders that show us the front of the device, the back, but the most important was the front, as we saw a smaller notch. I asked you what you thought about this new design. We had 509 comments. Does the 3-year design refresh cycle mean we'll have a similar notch for another 3 years? That's most likely going to be the case, and I believe that it's just the reason companies, like Toyota and other car manufacturers, they can't be building assembly lines 2-3 times a year or so often. That makes for very inefficient companies that are currently not making much profit. I feel that that's one of the major reasons why Apple's making the most money. As long as there's a notch, the design is horrendous, if not already outdated. I'm glad Android OEMs ditched that trend quickly. If only what Android OEMs are doing would mean that because developers have to adapt their apps to every single option available, it requires more work from developers, which is one of the reasons why they support iOS better than Android. You love Apple even if they add a bigger notch. Honestly, who cares? For the average Joe and Jane, the new SE is more than enough. Exactly, and I feel you make a very big point. People don't really mostly care about how the iPhone looks. Sure, of course they want the more futuristic one, but most people really, they just want an iPhone. And if what they can afford is the SE, that's what they're gonna buy. I feel bad for developers having to design their applications the 3rd time in 2 years for a new screen design. Exactly, dude, you get my point right there. One of the biggest problems is the lack of commonality in Android. And honestly, if I had to pick between a notch and none, and having developers do a better job with applications on Android, guys, I'd be all for the better applications. Then on Tuesday, the topic was the Xiaomi Mi 10 Pro. Our own Joshua Vergara had his review. He asked you what you thought about this phone, particularly because, we've known Xiaomi for the longest time as being a very affordable brand, and then this phone comes out at $999 over 5G with not the best specs in the world. I asked you what you thought. Well, he did. 312 comments. The 5G everyone is using as an excuse to finally charge mad extra for their phones. Exactly, and I feel that that's not the best strategy. I wish companies would give us 2 options, 5G and non-5G, and then they'd measure sales over if people are really going crazy over paying extra for 5G or not. Xiaomi releasing a $999 phone, Apple releasing a $399 SE. Crazy how tides have turned. Dude, exactly. I'm shocked. I really don't recognize Apple right now. They're making thicker phones, they're changing the keyboards on their laptops, they're doing things that prove that they're actually listening to their customers. And right now, we didn't just need the flagship killer that the iPhone 11 was. We needed a mid-ranger killer. Better mid-rangers, they mostly suck. So, wow, I'm impressed. So much for flagship killer. They're all infected by the expensive side of the force.
You only knew the power of the dark side.
I know a lot of companies are seeing how Apple is successful with their profits, but I don't think they get how that happens. It's not about charging more for their phones. It's about reducing the amount of requirements for change in design, which reduce the supply chain cost, which then will make them make more profit for products over time. The first year, they're always going to lose money, but then the others, they won't. The flagship killer became the victim of the flagship pricing. Yes, I get it. Most companies, I do believe, are looking into improving their profits. I just feel that raising the price is not the solution. You don't really need to change your phones all the time. Just come up with better options and less lineups. I feel that it's just too complicated for many companies, and not everybody has the agility of Samsung, in my opinion. Then on Wednesday, the topic was iPhone 12, the rumors that there will still be delays. I asked you, with the iPhone SE being announced, should you wait for the iPhone 12 with all the products we have right now? We had 483 comments. Waiting for the iPhone 12 to be released so that I can get the iPhone 11 at a lower price. Yes, a lot of people are going to do that, and the iPhone 11 is such a good phone. Since the iPhone 12 is rumored to have an OLED on all models, I'll wait for it. Love the 11, but can't live with an OLED. It's funny, I I don't agree with that because in my particular case, I need color accuracy, particularly if I'm editing a video, which Macs only have LCDs. I love that color accuracy in an iPad if I'm watching a movie, for example. I'm not saying OLEDs are bad. I believe they're great. I believe they're superior in so many ways, but I really don't mind LCDs. They actually have certain benefits. Not waiting for the iPhone 12 or even the iPhone 13. I had the 5S for 5 years until I bought the 10S. With that, I'll be waiting for an iPhone with no notch. Yeah, maybe waiting another 5 years would have to be the case, but here's the thing, dude. Props to you for holding on to the 5S for so long. Dude, I'm not in the hurry, so I will decide when I see the iPhone 12. Good point. Right now, if you're not in the need for a new smartphone, the iPhone SE is cool. I feel Apple's last year lineup is great. You don't really need to upgrade your phone all the time, and obviously companies give you reasons to spend. But, I don't see much of a difference in most cases between one lineup and the next. Probably 5G will be the case this year, but are we really getting more 5G? Then on Thursday, the topic was the rumors that we should be getting a MacBook with an ARM chip very soon. Apparently it could happen as soon as next year, and I asked you, what do you think? Do you think that this is the future? We had 385 comments. The ARMS race has started due to the lack of Intel. God, dude, these are the best puns of the show. Great. Here's the thing, it's interesting how ARM was abandoned for years, and then it became so crazy popular. And I'm not saying that they're better than Intel chips, but they are catching up, and they've won the nanometer race a long time ago. If Apple dumps Intel, then they've truly fallen for AMD. I think that AMD would be a great option. They're handling most of the best GPUs out there right now. I feel the company came back from their slump really well, so I think it's not a bad idea. Why not? If Apple somehow has a 5 nanometer chip, I'm calling it right now. The 12-inch MacBook design is coming back with a new display and an A14 chip. That is my dream. I don't need that computer, but I've been using a Pixelbook Go for weeks now for my daily work because I just love that thin and light form factor. I don't really need a MacBook Pro for most of the things that I do, and I know these are first world problems. I get it. I sound so bad right now. But it's just, the point is, there are a lot of people that all they need is basic computing, and they just really can go fine with a slim computer like a Chromebook. And I'd be perfectly fine with the Pixelbook Go if it wasn't for how bad Chrome OS handles Android applications and how Android applications need to also get better. One thing we can all be sure about is Apple software working amazing on Apple hardware. For the most part, it didn't happen with the first generation Apple Watch. The first iPhone wasn't necessarily amazing in so many ways. I do feel that we could see like a tendency for things to work. They'll take some time, but I don't think I wouldn't even buy the first generation model when it comes out. I'd wait for the second one. And finally, on Friday, we've got rumors that the iPhone SE might be underclocked in its A13 Bionic, and I asked you, do you really care about this when buying an iPhone SE? We had 648 comments. A 5% underclock A13 is still way faster than many other SoCs out there, and it's powering a lower resolution display, so it's not exactly an issue for me. Dude, all valid points, you win all your likes. Definitely, I feel that true. I mean, it's not like if it's powering so much hardware for it to need the extra clock speed. Mostly whenever I've heard of processor chips being underclocked, it's mostly because of heating issues. Anyway, $400 still seems like a steal. Exactly, I mean, what are you buying into? It still is a very powerful chip. From the back, it's not a bad looking phone. Yeah, you're right. For $400, I don't think you should ask for much. What if I told you that no one that's buying the new iPhone SE cares about how powerful it is? I beg to differ. I know that most of the people won't, but there's a big list of enthusiasts out there who've been meaning to try an iPhone and just can't because they're too crazy expensive or just don't justify the price. So this is the perfect time to try out an iPhone if you've ever wanted to. With such a low resolution, it only makes sense that it be underclocked. Exactly, good points. I feel that you're right. It could just be that even if this is the case, so long as it performs the same, who really cares? That's it for the Pocketnow Daily Recap. Thank you so much for watching. If you want your comments to be featured, keep them short, stick to the point, and try to get some thumbs up. It helps us spot them a lot easier. Also, follow us on social medias. Our extended coverage happens on Instagram, and follow me on my personal handles to see me stay at home as I make recap videos. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw. I'm Jaime Rivera. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.